Yo guys, welcome back to episode number 6, I think, of the Level Up podcast. Today we have Zaheed back. He came clutch for us.
Hey guys.
We also have Jordan. His face cam will be on eventually. He has to do something real quick. But by the way, the whole replay system thing, apparently, it's I don't know how they got it from the patch notes, but Silly and them were talking about the fact that they're bringing a ranked mode to MW for the offseason.
Really?
I mean, CDL Intel made a joke about it, or Silly made the joke about it.
Oh, I don't know if it's true. All I saw was like that tweet. Like apparently.
I mean, I was reading the comments about CDL Intels when fucking Silly said it, and it was like, oh no, it's all jokes. If they did that, that would just clown them even more.
So I just wanted to bring that up real quick, just because you guys just brought up how there was no ranked mode, and I just found that funny. But
I mean, we're not gonna get a ranked mode. Infinity Ward, unfortunately, just doesn't care about the competitive scene. I mean, they just fixed a domination, respawn faster glitch. Like, are you serious? Already after 8 teams have been knocked out of the playoffs.
I think what's even worse is I saw something on Twitter today that they changed the scoping of the MP5. So it's like I can't tell if it's either farther away or closer, one of the two. So they made an adjustment to a gun right in the middle of
the MP5.
COD champs.
Like it's closer now or like further away.
Yeah, one of the two. I can't remember exactly what it was. It was like, how are you gonna do that,
dude?
Like, how? I don't know. I don't get it.
I feel like that can legitimately like change how well a different a sub player plays.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's.
I mean,
it's like, as a sub player, I'm like, dude, I wonder if that would that affect me, or like, if you look at it like Atlanta still on, is that going to negatively affect like with BZ and Simp, or is that gonna throw them off?
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense to me why they would do such a thing.
You guys want to get into the first topic?
Can we just come together as a community and just fucking destroy Infinity Ward? Like, just run into their office and start flipping everything like the Purge, please?
Dude, they've gotten bashed so much this year. I just think that they've gotten onto it. But I do think that we should save all that CDO talk for later. Because first, I do want to get into Call of Duty Cold War. Apparently, wait, is it tomorrow that they're leaking? Or that they're revealing it?
Yeah.
It's somewhere over now.
It should be the campaign reveal, I think.
Yeah.
Yep, it is. Unfortunately.
But apparently, Salvation Elite made a video about it, and it has been taken down now. But it had a lot of stuff. Apparently, Dead Silence is going to be a perk, which I feel like we can all agree should be a perk.
It should have always been a perk, but IW fucking over here.
Yeah. Then what? Wait, do you guys know what else was leaked in the process?
I saw a bit of the patch notes before. I know they said EK, whatever it's fucking called, is back. The earn kill, EK, the earn kills is back. It's 150. They said the time to kill is
faster.
It's faster than Black Ops 4, a bit slower than Modern Warfare. They released some of the maps. They said that there's going to be also a hybrid / pick 10 system similar to MW, which I'm okay with.
Wait, what is that?
Others, like the pick 10 system for weapons and perks.
Okay.
You'll have 3 perks every gun, everything like that.
Yeah.
I think 5 attachments, or up to 5 attachments you can have for each gun. So a lot of it's positive. They did say that they would have skill-based matchmaking similar to MW, so I don't know how to feel about that. I know some people won't be too happy that skill-based matchmaking makes its way back in.
Can I just say, sorry to cut you off, but can I just
I was just going to say, everything else was positive, so.
Oh, I agree with that. The whole skill-based matchmaking thing, this has happened for years on years now, for competitive Call of Duty, which is, well, not competitive, but pub stomping. It's people that to bump their KD or something, I want to say KD, so for pub stomping videos, they would purposely do bad for 5-6 games in a row. Then when they rejoin, they reset their game and they came back, they would put them into a lobby of people way worse than them, and they'd be able to drop a 60 bomb because they were in a much worse level. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that.
Yeah.
But I know
that's my problem with skill-based matchmaking is that not everybody wants to try and get better and better playing casual. No. If you just give us a ranked mode and we'll be okay. Like separate the people who just want to play the game for fun, relax, and separate the people who just want to play ranked. I mean, last on BO4, I didn't mind going to pubs every once in a while, relaxing, kind of chilling a bit. But we didn't have that option this year because pubs were horrible because of the skill-based matchmaking.
Well, it's not just that. There's a lot of reasons that pubs are horrible. The same reasons that.
I know. I mean, that's true, but
like, dude, like, dude, how many times? Like, I've never. This is the first Call of Duty that I've ever. Like, when you think you know the spawns, you don't, and like you're just doing 360s, hoping you see somebody like, oh, he's gonna be over there. It's bad.
It's just really sad because at the end of the day, like.
$25 million.
This is the same company. Not just that. I mean, this is the same company that made, some of the greatest COD games of all time.
Yeah.
And it's just like it looks like they've fallen off so much.
Okay, I would like to.
This is the same company that.
I would like to defend them because I do know, like, my brother, he doesn't like follow competitive as much as me. The reason he does is because, like, it's always on my timeline. You know what I mean? Like, I retweet it and stuff. And, like, him and his friends, this is the most that they've played Call of Duty in a while. Like, they're, like, searching the shore. Like, just messing around on that. So I do think that this is, like, the most, like, they've had, like, people, like, pub stomping, like, in that sense.
I think from a casual perspective, the game has done very well for itself, especially with Warzone. I mean, I know, like, I don't remember the last time before this Call of Duty specifically that Call of Duty's been, like, this active in mainstream media. Yeah, all the content. People love to watch Warzone.
Like TP.
So
I am Wildcat. If you know who that is, he posts S&D videos like twice a week.
Yeah, like even like just as you say, your brother. Like even like some of my friends like from high school that, they don't really play Call of Duty anymore. Like they'll talk about like people that do like they're creating content for Warzone or like playing S&D or just pubs in general, which they never talk about before. So I think. From that aspect, they've done well for themselves, but considering that a lot of us are heavily invested in the competitive scene, seeing all the changes that they've made that haven't been addressed in competitive is very disappointing.
Also, by the way, the pub system has also helped a few people. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but his name's Futives.
Yeah, I heard of him recently,
Yeah, he's a new face. He has no face cam on his video. It's literally just gameplay. And it's usually him playing Search and Destroy. And he has blown up because he made his first video was getting a nuclear and searching and destroy. Then he did one where he was like, I made a phase members rage quit, blew up, and all of his videos now get like 500,000 views without a doubt. So it helped a few people. Any comment on that, Jordan? Oh, he's muted. I bet you he's in the something. Oh yeah, you ready to go to the Florida? I mean, not the Florida, but the entire CDL bracket this weekend?
Yeah, for sure.
So, first thing, I just want to get them out of the way because they had 2 back-to-back weekends where they got first place. Florida. How did you feel about Florida going into this?
Florida was a very difficult team for me to
predict.
Sort of rate. Predict on because I felt like ever since the meta change happened, they weren't nearly as dominant as they were prior to it.
That spark.
I wasn't really sure what to expect from them. I still figured they'd be they could still be dangerous. They had a month to prep. Surely we know what Awakening's capable. Skies has been an MVP caliber player. And Pharaoh's been Pharaoh, and they still, at least in the Ultra Series, I know they still play that dominant. It was just team-wise, fundamentally, they didn't look nearly as good.
I don't know why, but something, maybe the spark just went away, the honeymoon period. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Had to have gone away. I watched Florida, and going into this, I was like, I think they're dangerous, but they just haven't given me that when you watch them, you think they are about to. They're about to really show up, you know what I mean? Then wait, the first time they played was Toronto.
Yeah.
And I was like,
when I come back, I'm gonna talk about Florida. So just give me a minute here.
Okay. No, but the first thing I thought about when I saw Toronto was Toronto. I think Toronto's gonna take that series. They just looked way better. Plus, you're a Toronto fan.
Yeah.
So you must have been feeling great going into that series.
Yeah, I will admit I was a bit hesitant, as I am with most of my sports teams, but with Ultra, just considering I wasn't too sure how Florida was going to play. When I did see the series roll on, I was like very confident with the Ultra. It looked like they had a pretty good handle on that, especially with the way Cammy and Kleenex were playing. Didn't like even though Florida was still to the point keeping up slaying wise or even like beating them slaying wise, it looked like Ultra still was in control for most of the games. So I
Absolutely.
felt pretty comfortable.
Dude, plus it really does help when. By the way, I'm just gonna say this now. Cammy, his stock has to be really high right
Oh
now.
yeah,
Even though they lost, methods.
yeah,
He just showed it. He had moments where he showed a game where like he's one of the best ARs in the game, and he took over.
yeah.
And I don't know. Sadly, Ultra. I thought Ultra was gonna make it. Dude, Ultra was so close to beating Dallas.
Yeah.
Dude, no joke. I was like so happy, but then like I saw it felt like a server switch happened. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, almost. Yeah. It was really weird. Like when I watched them win the Dom, because Dom was like the game mode that Ultra had struggled in the most.
Yeah.
Statistically, I believe. So when they won that map on Gunrunner, I was like, oh holy shit, they're gonna actually win it. They're actually gonna make like winners finals. Like I was freaking out, and then it just looked like they completely ran out of gas
Yeah.
and got just crapped on
It happens.
4 and 5. Yeah.
It happens.
I mean, I'm back. Like, I want to give my like the 2 cents on like the Florida and like Toronto aspect. My thing with Toronto is Toronto's players necessarily, like just their players, not their team, but their players haven't necessarily been that far in the previous years. Am I correct? Like they haven't, made it to finals
Well,
or they haven't made it to
No,
winners
Not
finals.
all of them. Like there's been methods that has. And
this is one.
they're a
I mean,
bench. A few,
yeah.
they have a bench players that like Looney that have, but nobody on there.
I mean, yeah, but you have to remember that, like, especially Kleenex and Cammy, who haven't been that far, that's still a new experience for them
which they
that
have a nice little.
that they probably weren't used to. I mean, like they were feeling good, and I think what got to them is because they are young players. They realize what's on the line. Like they were still kind of putting up the same stats, but like the kills didn't mean as much as some of the other kills that they got in previous games, right?
Yeah, actually,
Like they
Mhm.
put
Can
up
we
the same
pull it up?
numbers, but the meanings of those kills just weren't there.
I know that against your Toronto fan. I wonder, did I feel?
Let me actually pull
I
it
thought
up
I
in
saw
front of me.
something that apparently Toronto actually outslayed one of the teams that they lost to.
I think it
It's very
might have
possible.
been Dallas. Actually,
think it
I'm
was-
not sure if it was Dallas.
I know.
but-
Well, I know that the first match they lost to Dallas. I'm pretty sure that they actually outslayed. It was just like, the kills didn't mean enough. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, like that, like just because at the end of the day, if you
Yeah.
you can outkill somebody by 30 kills. Like even I've done it in the amateur scene, where I'm getting outslayed or I'm outslaying, but either we're winning the map
Well-
and we're getting outslayed, or we're losing the map and we're outslaying. You
Well,
just have to make
that
sure that the
happened
kills
to-
that you get.
I mean,
I think it also. Sorry to cut you guys off.
It's
I
alright,
think it
you're
also
good.
came down to the team they were playing. Like one thing I was worried about playing a team like Dallas is that their team based like all in fundamentals. Their team that plays together, plays with a lot of teamwork.
yeah.
Obviously, they have guys like Shotzi that go off from time to time, but you never really see them all dropping massive numbers. And with the Ultra, that they're sort of similar in that case, where they're going to base off all their teamwork. They're not necessarily going to have one guy going off, maybe Cammy or Kleenex from time to time, but for the most part, they're going to be sort of similar in terms of KD. So going up against like a team like Dallas, I felt like in itself was going to be a tough matchup, and unfortunately, it was a bit too much to overcome. But your point about them being young was also, yeah, I didn't even think about
Which,
that.
By the way, I don't know what series it was. I know I watched all their series though, but
Mhm.
Toronto had a series where they just it was just Cammy, the Piccadilly S&D.
Mhm.
That he just did. I don't know what series it was, but like, he just didn't look like himself on that map, and I think that may have hurt them. Like, that may have put like them into like an ego check where it's like, okay, we really need this upcoming map. You know what I mean?
I think it might have been against Florida, if I'm not mistaken, because I remember I believe it was Florida that they ended up winning all 3 respawns against, and they
Oh,
lost the S&D,
yeah,
and I believe it was Piccadilly.
Cammy
I
bounced back from the
remember
dom.
yeah, I remember like Cammy just because we'd seen him on previous like maps with the sniper look, like he just took over, and then he looked nowhere near himself. So yeah, that definitely played a part, I think.
Absolutely.
I mean, not to mention everybody does have bad games from time to time, or sometimes people just have a bad slump. I mean, there's been times where Formal or Prestini wasn't in like the best, in their best performance. It was probably some of their worst performances. Like obviously they're pros, so they're still very good, but they're not putting up like what they normally would, right? I think that's also kind of what happened with Florida because Awakening didn't play that well. I mean, he didn't play terrible, but he didn't play his normal self that he played and won the other home series off of.
Which, by the way, I saw a Reddit post about that, saying that if Florida wanted to win, they needed him to pull up that MVP performance again. Well, he was like had like the laser beam on Lamazi, and he just didn't have it this week.
I mean, you can't just expect someone to always have that MVP performance. Because I mean, even Scump on some modes or some game maps or whatnot, he's not the best player.
By the way,
luckily, go ahead.
Thank you for saying Scump so we can clickbait him.
Oh my god. I mean, because if you look at T2P, bro, on Arklov, first literal 4 rounds, they were 0-8 together. Scump turned it around. Formal took a little bit longer. Yeah. So, I mean, they don't always. They're not gods.
Okay.
They're not perfect.
Can we get into the next topic? Because this one, as like a minor fan of them, hurt me a little bit. New York Subliners had a rough ending to the year. They had a hot start against who? London.
Yeah, they beat Minnesota as their first match.
Yeah.
Can we not talk about Minnesota? All right, man. Fuck, I like Minnesota. That's my team.
Yeah, no, but okay. So they went to face Huntsman. They played a good game 5. Lost game 5.
Mm-hmm.
And which, by the way, I was like, when they go to lose back, I thought that they were if they didn't make it, Toronto was. Like I thought it was gonna be like one of those two teams. Then at the end of the day, New York Subliners fell to who? Wait, it wasn't London?
It was London. They ended up losing. I can't remember if it was 3-1 or.
I think it was 3-1.
I don't think it went 1-5. I think it was 3-1.
Yeah, it was 3-1. Dude, I don't know. It was one of those events where I don't know. I felt so bad, dude, because I'm a big fan of Zuma and Attach, and I may not be the biggest fan of I know people are gonna say it's because I'm not a big fan of Donnie and Temp, but at the same time, it's like I don't know how he performed this weekend.
Bro, give me Doug.
He did not have a good week. He had a .96, I believe, on the weekend, according to Easy Max stats.
Temp did him?
Yeah, looking at their stats actually across the board, they had KD wise, they were fine. Accuracy had a 1.11. Attached had a massive champs. He had a 1.19.
Yeah.
Mac was 1.1.
It's one of those
I think it was yeah, even I think in the map 4 that they lost to London, I believe almost every single one of them had a positive KD. I think everyone on London was negative, and London still won the map. Obviously we talked about just previously how you don't have to necessarily outslay to win, but more often than not, if you're outslaying, you should be winning hard points, and New York was definitely doing that. So it looked like maybe it was something fundamentally that just went wrong with the team.
Yeah.
Which just sucks because I also thought they could make a far run.
We talked about it earlier, and I saw a pro player tweeting about it. It's like you can have all 2.0 KDs, but if the teamwork's not being in there, you're not getting the hill time, you're not getting the spawns, you're not getting on the rotations. It doesn't matter if you have a 1 point. Everybody on your team has a 1.2. You're just gonna lose. I think maybe that could have been the reason. Just, I don't know. It felt like there's a lot of times where they were getting pointless kills instead of pushing to the hard point. They were, I don't know. It sucks because I want to see.
I get what you're saying, and I agree with that. I mean, it just sucks as like Zaheed said that if you're outslaying, you should be winning.
If you do it correctly.
Yeah.
Obviously, they just weren't, I guess, working together as a team. No one was, communicating what they were doing, and everyone was just kind of going out and pretending that it's fucking team deathmatch. And I was gonna give some excuse to them and be like, I mean, at least with Dallas, if it ends up like that, then you have Shotzi who's played Team Slayer, so he's playing Team Slayer. But Subliners have no excuse for just kind of not playing objective. I mean, you have Attach, Zuma, Temp. You have talented players on your team who have, been the distance or almost been there. There's no reason that it should have been like that.
Yeah. You guys tried to go to a more controversial
Sure, why not?
Zaheed, I think Jordan knows what this is, but Atlanta, in my opinion, should have went to losers. Or if they would have went to losers, if it was land or if Forma wasn't West Coast.
I think they flew Formal out for Dallas.
I don't think.
I mean, nobody knows because
I don't
he
know if
always
he
keeps
did.
his fucking camera off.
Yeah. I don't know, but dude, it took him 6. Like, okay, so there's been multiple times, but can I just say, like, the Major Maniacs staying alive and getting a 3-piece, that's unacceptable. Like, they should not have won that round, right? Then finally, like, the round 11 comes along. Well, it was round 10 or round 11.
And this is where I think that sometimes CDL is scripted. Like, we know it's
Yeah, that was
not,
round 10. Yeah.
but we know CDL is not scripted. But there's times where you really question whether it is or not. Because if you look at it now it's set up for Dallas and Chicago to meet each other in the finals.
Yeah.
Dallas wins and Chicago beats London and FaZe. I mean, it's going to be the biggest match of the year, just like how it was at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Like, that was the most hyped
First
match
match
in
and
Minnesota.
last match.
That's where
That's how you end the
for
year.
the question. Is it?
That's
I think
poetic.
that I think it is a little scripted at times because that's a little
I
that's a
wouldn't say
little
it's
weird for
scripted.
it to be set up perfectly.
I want to say it's scripted. I think it's suggested. Where, like, they put it that way, so
Yeah.
it's like, if stuff does go that way, you know. They can, that way, I don't know. It's the same way, like, Atlanta and Huntsman were in the same exact group how many times this entire season? Like, twice total?
Hmm.
Yeah. It was a crazy event, man. I don't know. I just think that if it doesn't take 6 balls to kill Celium, I think Huntsman could have beat Atlanta. But that's just me being salty.
I mean, Prestini had like a .58, 0.6 in that series, and they kept it that close. I mean, Sim didn't even have a good series himself by his standards,
No,
so
Sim had a good
it
series
definitely
compared
was
to-
in the. Yeah. I mean, he took a lot of heat for that,
And he bounced back.
so, and he bounced back very well. So
We'll
all
get to
credit
that.
to him.
We'll get that in a minute, by the way. But next subject is the London had an amazing run. And I don't know, did you watch all of London
Yeah.
series?
I watched a bit of their series. One thing I noticed was Zero looked like the Zero when he first came on.
Yeah.
Because I remember when he first was inserted into the London lineup, I believe they made finals right out of the gate, lost to the Huntsman.
Yeah.
But it's like the events after that, we didn't see that same Zero. He wasn't having that same impact on the map, and it looks like he has been this series. Also, Shawnee has stepped it up immensely.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
the
actually,
amount of plays he's been making either in S&D and Respawn have definitely helped the team.
it'll-
So it looks like certain players are stepping up at a key moment.
That's what I bring up is Shawnee showing up when needed. Like, he had not. By the way, usually people are like he only shows up on, like, on Monster Search and Detroit. Like, I mean, he was showing up at every single game mode, and he was getting those kills that, like, truly meant something, and, like, it really impacted the map. And I know Shawnee's gotten a lot of flack because of their past performances, but I think he really showed himself. The only problem is I don't think London doing anything coming up without Shawnee. Do you feel the same way, or are you like, even without him being like that, he is still okay?
I'd say, like, I definitely think they need Shawnee to step up. Another thing is once they get to teams like they are now with the Huntsmen, and if they let's say, hypothetically, like they play Dallas or FaZe, they can't play domination like they have been. I think they were one of the worst domination teams
All year.
Um,
How'd
you
win?
know, all year, and even at champs, like they lost to New York. They looked pretty piss poor, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised in their Ultra series that the Ultra lost Gunrunner Dom to London. I was kind of upset about that. But other than that, they pretty much lose every Dom that they play. So if that happens again, like, you're never going to beat a team like the Huntsman, Dallas, or Ultra. If anything, I feel like it was better for them had the weekend continued, they probably were in a better shape. But now that they have a week off, it
See,
might slow them down a little bit.
That says
Which
that,
game are we talking about?
London with Shawnee showing up when needed. And I think this big break is really going to hurt them. I think they're gonna be affected the most.
Oh, they are. I mean,
Which, by the way,
Has-
they're not a bad team at all.
No, they're not a bad
They
team.
have so much talent. It's just you need China to stay hot, and I don't know if he can over a week break.
hey, so I know this is kind of unorthodox a little bit, but
What?
as I was coming back in, I actually got my CDL stuff from there, from the sweepstakes.
Oh,
And I'm happy because it's my first esports, it's the first esports gear I've ever had.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Wow.
And oh, they're sweatpants.
Lucky
Sweatpants.
Minnesota rock your sweatpants.
But as much as I love fucking certain teams, it's gonna be a weird weekend. Let's be real. I mean, IW just fixed like three problems, and it's 8 teams already got knocked out. It's a joke.
They just put out a patch today. Pretty sure. I'm so happy I don't work for the CDL. I'd be getting so. I feel like I'd be fined a lot. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be good, brutal.
You guys ready to go into a topic that I like to hear about? Jordan, I think. Do you want to bring it up or do you want me to?
Prestini is a god.
Dude,
Nah,
he's-
I was in a Discord call during Map 5, and we were talking about how bad, if Huntsman wants to win this game, Prestini has to show up.
Absolutely.
I mean, he had a great Map 1, but then Map 2 and Map 3 that wasn't it.
And he wasn't bad. He was just average.
Domination, he was double negative.
Oh wait, was he?
Yeah, it was bad. I'm sorry. And Map 2 and Map 3 it was really bad. I don't know if you were watching it, Zaheed.
Yeah, I watched it. He was pretty good in the hard points from what I remember.
Yeah,
I remember
the
Map
hard
4
points
on
he was hard.
Map 4, I mean, Map 4,
Ramaza. He picked it up.
Map 4 was an extremely that was amazing to watch because I told the people I was talking to at the time, he has to pick it up Map 4. I don't know what he has to do, and I made the joke. I was like, he needs to slam 2 game fuels, and it'll be fine. And he had 30 kills before any of his teammates even dropped 20 kills. I mean, he is the reason that they won Map 4 for sure. He is the reason.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
he had multiple moments where he went onto these routes. You know, what I mean, he was a route man, and he got behind him. He did the dirty work that set him up for the win, and he showed up when it was needed. By the way, people have been calling it the best series in Call of Duty history, especially with storyline and stuff. I don't know if I agree with that. I think intensity.
I would say it's up there. I wouldn't
Yeah.
say it's the best.
Yeah, it's up there. It's definitely not the best. The reason it's up there is just for the sheer fact that it just off of Prestini had a horrible game, horrible matches the day before. He was not playing well at all. I mean, in Scum Map 5 wasn't playing well until after round 5 or round 6.
Yeah.
And I think the storyline is mainly the reason that it's mainly one of the best is just because the storyline is the fact that to go into champs, they had to beat their old team, the same team that's been talking mad trash lately
all year long.
And it was good to see that Optic loss because I really wanted Optic personally.
Same. Another thing, I just want to put that out there is the round 11. Absolutely absurd. No joke. I heard that Envoy almost passed out from lack of air, and I felt that same way.
I mean, me personally, dude, when I watched that happen, Envoy killed him, I was screaming. I was like, yes! I was so happy. And he almost lost that. I don't know if you guys watched the
TJ
Yeah,
first bullet.
He's got first 2 bullets. And that's the supposed Iceman. That's all I'm saying.
No, dude, people don't realize that. The reason that they call TJ Iceman is just don't give him that nickname.
No, I know.
And people maybe, I don't know. Everybody's saying that now, Envoy's the new Iceman, so who knows? Dude,
Envoy's the prince.
Dude, he really is. That was such a... Any thoughts on that final round, Zaheed?
I mean, it was just crazy because I was also in a Discord call, and I remember seeing them get first blooded. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Prestini who got first blooded, and it was like,
Yes.
oh
Yeah,
my
yeah,
god.
Prestini,
In
they
my
put-
mind, I'm like, oh my god, they're actually gonna lose.
See, the thing is, though, when I was okay with that because when Prestini got first blood, he saw 4 people mid map, and that's when
Yeah.
I was like,
You got the
and
information.
you immediately saw everybody on Huntsman automatically rotate, and I was like, you know what, this is okay. Plus, they don't know Stumps behind the counter, like I was feeling like okay. I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
like the
it's
fact-
45.
Now, actually, I have a
The
question.
fact that Scump stayed alive.
Yeah, no, for a fact, Matt, like that, he had to stay alive or else they didn't win that. But I saw some like
Mhm.
fans on Twitter like really believing that Stump was snaking.
Okay, this is,
That's what I was
I don't
saying.
know. Like, it didn't look like me.
there's a difference
It is.
between snaking and just trying to stay alive by any means possible.
Well, no, he wasn't even snaking. I mean, if you really watch, he wasn't even going prone. He was just crouching multiple times. That was it.
Well, no,
Snaking is when you.
he
And
went
even-
prone a couple times because he was like he didn't want people to like because he was trying to jump shot him over. He was like laying down. He was like calling back and forth, and he finally Kenny kill got him, but it didn't matter.
What were you saying, Zaheed? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, even if he was in theory snaking, which he wasn't, but let's just for, argument's sake, say he was. I'm pretty sure it's not even necessarily GA to begin with, because we've seen multiple pros in different matches. Like, I can't remember if it was Pharaoh or someone else snaking Minecart
Selling.
on Gunrunner, like P3, like or Celium. Like they snake it all. Like so, like what kind of
Well,
argument are you trying to make there?
Was
Like
it Selling or Shotzi?
it could have been
I want
Pharaoh.
to say
to be
probably.
honest.
I
can't
think
remember who
it was honestly. I think it was just that any pro who's on minecart heady automatically does it because that's the only way to stay alive on that heady. Is if
Mhm.
you're constantly, you pop up, you get a 1 or 2 kills, or you do what you can, you lay down, reload, get back up.
Okay. By the way, okay, so you guys ready to get into the thing I can't wait to bash?
Sure.
OGLA made. I'm not gonna lie, they made a good run. You can't knock them. That's the best TJ's played all year. That's the best. Who else?
Kenny's played all year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kenny had an amazing series,
No, not just that one series. Like the entire
or in general.
like the entire run. They had a good match against LAG. Dashy saved them right after getting out of bed.
Actually, that's what I was
Yeah.
gonna ask. Zaheed, can you see how Kenny played on map 5?
Kenny played on map 5. I can see. I mean, yeah, actually, I can check that right now.
Because I am curious because I feel like honestly, Dashy came in clutch for them before. I honestly feel like they should have put in Dashy in on map 5 one more time. Because I
On
feel
map
like
5, Kenny was 8-8.
So even.
I feel like they should have just put Dashy in just because Dashy's known for S. Like that's his whole.
Yeah, that's what he came up in.
I mean, he just won a fucking one and done for 20 grand. Woke up, wiped the crust out his eyes, like, "What's up, guys? It's done. I got a stream to do."
Yeah, I don't know. It was. Plus they
That
had.
was nothing.
By the way, as much as I don't like that organization, but they did have an amazing run. Nobody can knock them. They all played well. I feel like that's all I want to say. Without really seeing them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they did Kenny looked like a completely different player when he went to, was it Texas? Or wherever he
Yeah,
went?
they all
Yeah,
went to
Texas
Texas.
Kenny, I
Texas
think they're
Kenny.
calling him. I was like, this is finally the potential that everyone was talking about when the roster was first made. For their sake, it's obviously a shame that it took this long for it to happen.
Yeah.
But they played their hearts out. Going against the Huntsman to take the map 5 round 11 in itself is very difficult. So hats off to them. But yeah, it was a pretty impressive run considering everything.
Absolutely. You guys said you go
Now,
into
I
the final
know-
topic? Or what do you want?
Well, I was gonna say this. We do need something out of Treyarch next year.
What?
We need a pause feature. We have to
Yes.
have a pause feature.
By the way, can I
'Cause
just...
there's been. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, on like the pre-recording stuff is almost unfair to Seattle and those teams, but pause feature next year and Vaughn.
We need it just because like if
If it's
people are
online.
getting lagged out or booted off, like you need something to be able to just pause the game. Oh, someone lagged out, pause it. It
Yeah.
it's that it. I mean, I think we had. I don't think we had one last year, right?
Yeah, we did.
We did.
Did
Well,
we?
yeah, we did. It happened at Miami. Remember? Clay blue screen.
It happened
Yeah,
at
no,
Miami, but didn't they
they
do a
reset the
full
map.
replay
Yeah,
of
no,
that?
they replayed the whole map.
No, but at first they only paused it because they didn't know what happened.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a little harder when score streaks come into play in that
Yeah.
game.
No, seriously, it was like the
So,
final like hard point
but
or
I
something.
don't know.
Like the final P1 and Clay blue screen, and they paused the map because they didn't know what happened. They didn't know if like maybe it was just like control malfunction. They didn't know what happened, and they're like, okay, let's replay it. And like both teams agreed, like,
I
okay, let's
remember that.
play it, and like then they went and reset it. So I was like front row, and I could hear the refs talking.
Genji was really mad.
I would have.
Because Genji got blown out on the replay.
I
We
know.
were like that was Genji's like one
Didn't
chance.
Gen-
to
didn't,
do-
Gen-
Go ahead.
didn't Genji win the map
No,
on
No.
the second
That
play?
no,
Didn't you?
on the it was
No.
it was literally down to like the last 10 seconds for both teams for
Yeah.
Genji to beat E United, and then what ended up happening is that restart happened, and then E United
beat
just
him
it was like
out.
shooting fish in a barrel. It was bad.
Yeah, it was.
It was like 250 to 70 or something.
But-
It was
Yeah,
ugly.
that's brutal.
Yeah, it was. Just
That's
not
brutal.
fun. But I think we should
We
get
have
to
to have one.
the final four. And what are your thoughts? Who is it? Atlanta, Dallas, Huntsman, and London.
Champs is gonna be Dallas and Chicago.
I agree with that. Zaheed?
I think Atlanta's gonna make it. I know people are down on them, but I think the way they looked, obviously, it was only one series. So it's hard to tell exactly how well they've improved necessarily. But I think they're gonna make the finals. I honestly think fundamentally they've looked a lot better, which was like I feel like their biggest issue
Yeah.
was like playing as a team and like actually going for spawns as opposed to like just trying to break everything together.
Yeah.
So I think they're gonna make it. I think they'll beat Dallas, especially because they're in Dallas's heads. I mean, they've beaten Dallas pretty much every single time they met up, with the exception of like 2 times. Dallas has got a chance, so I think it'll be Atlanta, and I think Chicago might make it as well. And then it'll be Atlanta,
I think
Chicago.
Chicago's gonna make it. I don't know. I don't think that Atlanta's gonna beat Dallas. And I think Atlanta get third place.
In
overall.
order for Atlanta to beat Dallas, you need everybody to
Go off.
step up. You need not necessarily go off, but
I
you
mean,
just
like
need to
show up.
step
I
up.
mean, they can, no,
Yeah,
they,
I
no,
mean-
Prestini, like not Prestini. Priesta cannot be dropping his. Like,
Priesta can't be doing what
He
what
used
he's
to.
been doing as of late. I mean, Major Maniac has to definitely step it up a little bit, and then for Dallas to beat Atlanta, Hugh has to step it up. Illy has to step it up. Clayster has to step. Like everyone needs to step it up.
which I think all teams will be like that. And can I just say the reason I think that Atlanta's not gonna make it to the finals? Because they almost
Sure.
got 4v5'd if you don't count Prestini dropping a .58.
That is true.
Then that's a scary thing. If you're Atlanta, you're like, yeah, we won because Prestini wasn't. He knows it, and he beat himself up because of it. Because of how badly he played against Atlanta, and if he actually showed up, I don't think that series goes Atlanta's way. And so I feel like Atlanta's fans have to be a little bit like worried going into it.
No, 100%. I'd agree. Like, again, it's hard. 'Cause, I think even now, like they're all scrimming different like AM teams. So I wonder how good a practice that is for each team. I mean,
Fundamentally,
I'll
maybe.
always like sort of be biased to Atlanta considering how strong they are in S&D.
Yeah.
Then it'll sort of help them. But I mean, only time will tell. It's
If
really
you
hard
have
to choose.
If you on S&D, as long as Scump and Formal don't start out 0-4 together, 0-8, I think that stand a much better chance to end up having to play Atlanta.
Okay.
Especially as long as Prestini does what he do, at least break even on S&D. If he can at least break even, I think they stand a pretty good chance of beating Atlanta.
Yeah. Okay. Due to the fact that I haven't eaten yet, and I really want to go get Buffalo Wild Wings, I just want to hear your guys' grand finals winner. Like, who's your 2 in the grand finals, and who do you have winning? From both of you. So you go first.
Okay, I'll go first. I think I said it earlier. I think it's going to be between Atlanta and Chicago, and I think Atlanta takes it.
Oh.
in the best of 9. I think Atlanta will take it. Yeah.
So you're the one I'm texting the trash talk right after Chicago.
Yeah.
And I
Go
don't
straight
know.
ahead.
I have a feeling that it's gonna be Chicago and Dallas. It just feels right. The former teammates.
I mean, that'd be entertaining as hell.
I think grand finals will probably be Dallas or Chicago. If it's not, then you also have to think about it this way: if Chicago beats London,
Yeah.
the way to get into the finals either for Dallas to beat Chicago or for Chicago to beat Dallas. I mean, that's also another kind of storybook ending for the trash talk. I mean, what if it's I still think it's gonna be Dallas and Chicago in the finals and grand finals, and if they
Yeah.
play each other, I think Dallas will win by maybe one map, just because you have to remember that they're getting that one map head start off rip because of the in the winners bracket, and then it'll be close. I think it'll come down to game 8, honestly, and then with if you know if for some reason Atlanta makes it against Chicago, I think Chicago takes it by like 2 maps, and if Atlanta and Dallas are in the grand finals, I think whoever lost the previous matchup will definitely beat whoever's in the finals, grand finals, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You have anything you want to add, Zaheed?
No, I mean that pretty much summed it up. I'm looking forward to it. I really hope we get at least some storm of Dallas for Chicago because I think it'll just
Yeah.
be entertaining as hell to see those guys go at it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay. I think
I'm
that's.
just looking forward to it.
I think that's how we're about to wrap up this episode. Next week we'll have a guy that named Visions on, which he does his own breakdown series on Twitter. And Jordan, you should be joining us if I'm correct.
Europe.
And just like that, that is going to conclude this episode of the Level Up Podcast. Thank you again, Zaheed, for coming on. And me and Jordan will see
As
you guys
always.
Thursday for the
Real
next.
fast,
Actually, Tuesday for the next episode.
before you end
So-
that thing, do you want to shout out your socials?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, I also have my own Call of Duty podcast called the Hipfire Podcast. We also similarly talk about everything in the CDL. We break down matchups. You break down the AM scene from time to time. So check that out if you have the time.
Sounds great. And like as always, we'll see you guys next week at the same exact time. See ya.